In order to make liquefied petroleum equipment available to Pakistanis, their small workshop used iron sheets to make gas tanks. Although they do not have high-end production equipment, the capacity of the finished products produced through their series of processing is very large. In front of them, the iron sheet craftsmen who use the raw materials as manufacturing materials must first cut the iron sheet through a cutting machine. All the iron sheets can be cut into consistent sizes. In order to facilitate the shaping of the iron sheet into a cylindrical sheet, the two ends of the sheet must be manually bent to prevent warping after shaping, and then the iron sheet is inserted into their roller shaping machine and bent repeatedly under the roller. The gaps must be fixed by spot welding. Their inertial bodies are spliced in 3 parts, and additional iron sheets need to be cut into circles for the bottoms that need to be stamped. Not only do they need to apply a layer of glue on the surface, but the purpose of wrapping the iron sheet with 2 layers of plastic film is to make the stamping of the iron sheet smoother and avoid the remaining stamped products that fail to stamp. After the stamping machine simply stretches and shapes the iron sheet, the edge of the bottom cannot be stabbed and the edge is uneven, requires simple cutting. Press out the valve hole to facilitate subsequent refilling and use. Because the valve is connected to the filling body through threads and there is a risk of air leakage during ordinary welding, we must use airtight buried paste welding and high temperature arc to weld the surface. The welding sand is melted to achieve the purpose of overlaying the gap between the two. When it is necessary to connect with the filling body, Fu needs to use the roller to squeeze out the inner diameter at the edge of the step to reduce it. It is easier to dock with the filling body. The filling body can then be spliced. Because their measurements are very accurate, everything on the steps can fit perfectly. After splicing the 3-stage filling body, in order to prevent air leakage from occurring in the 3 gaps, we must first fix the filling body on the console before proceeding. When rotating, our welding equipment will automatically perform welding. When a certain amount of welding sand is repeatedly put into the discharge port, the arc of the electric nozzle will melt the gap welding flow circuit on the inside, and the high temperature generated by the circuit will melt the two and improve the overall quality. Welding quality. If you still need to bend the iron sheet into a circle, if the thickness is not enough to support it, you need to use the mold of the stamping machine to shape it. The contact surface of the base can be larger because the head also needs a handle. In this case, these rusty parts need to be removed. Bend the iron pipe into a circle and then fix the line position of the mold according to the center hole. The purpose is to weld the iron sheet in a uniform position so that it can be used as a support for the iron pipe handle. After that, it is welded to the iron sheet through ordinary welding rods. The tank body is simply after assembly. Check the hardening of the tank. Whether it is qualified or not, you need to use an air pump to inject compressed air. If the air pressure gauge does not change, it proves that the tank has been accepted. Because there are still varying degrees of skill on the entire surface, the master will push the qualified tank into the rolling machine to make the entire surface smoother and smoother, because spray paint is especially prone to peeling off. In order to make the coating on the surface of the tank more wear resistant, their small workshop chose a high-end spray paint process. When high pressure gas is passed through, the charged powder is adsorbed on the surface. The powder will fall off after a certain period of time, and the surface of the filling body needs to be heated at high temperature to melt the powder. To better calculate the weight of the liquefied gas, the factory needs to simply weigh and silk screen to mark the resin on the surface of the filling body. The valve wrapped with raw material tape is then rotated and fixed to prevent the valve from leaking. We have to use clean water to conduct bubble detection. Is there any risk of leakage in the filling body? Is there any liquefied oil and gas tank made of iron sheet that has been produced? Got it? How is the master's skill?